I can't believe I let down everybody. I let down myself. I let down my family. I let down my country. I let down God.
Yeah, God fucking smite.
Smooth. Yes.
He hurt you. Hello and welcome to The Lyric Boys. I'm Lucian Flores, and with me is Andrew, the Stieglitz.
You're so sensual, Lucian.
Thank you.
The way you speak.
I think it's
so
one of my many strengths. So in this podcast, we take one of our favorite bands and we pick 10 of their most insane, most ridiculous, craziest, funniest lyrics, and we talk about it. It's literally that simple. Anyone can listen to it. Anyone can get it. But it's a great, great time. And today, we are talking about Weezer.
Yes, I love Weezer. Another one of my favorites. Weezer, you want me to dive into a little backstory on Weezer here?
Yeah, you're the Weezer expert of the two. I don't know them nearly as well as you do.
I will say about Weezer, they are simultaneously the best band and the worst band. Okay. They put out absolute brilliant stuff, and then they put out the worst music you've ever heard in your life at the same time. So
when we talk about Weezer, what do you say like the genre is?
Okay, well, Wikipedia classifies them as, are you ready for these?
I'm ready. Rock.
Alternative rock.
Okay.
Alternative rock, power pop, pop rock, pop punk, geek rock, and emo.
Interesting.
I would classify them really as just like, I mean, it really depends the era you're talking about. Overall, I would just say that they're like a power pop, or like pop rock.
Okay. And what's like, in your mind, the go-to Weezer albums?
Blue Album is 100%. Pinkerton is also 100%. I mean, as you go, the earlier the better. So like Blue Album, first album, then Pinkerton, and then Green Album. Then I would say, I think that their most underrated album is the one after Green Album, which is Maladroit. I think that does not get nearly as enough credit that it deserves.
Yeah.
I think also Red Album has some jams that are underrated, and I think of the recent stuff, the White Album and Everything Will Be Alright in the End are the two best of the like 2010s stuff.
Cool. And Weezer,
everything else is ignorable.
And Weezer's led by Rivers Cuomo, right? Is he
Rivers Cuomo,
lyricist, songwriter? Harvard grad.
He went to Harvard in between recording Pinkerton and the Green Album.
So this, I knew a little bit of Pinkerton before we did this, and that's kind of the only Weezer album I had gotten into. I got into them very late, and I do like it. But what's interesting about them to me is that like they do make some great songs, but there are definitely some lyrics that I could imagine like a joke band making, and yet they Pinkerton, like Rivers has the confidence and wherewithal to be like, whatever, these lyrics are funny and I'm going to leave them in, but our music is like so good that you're going to know we mean business.
Yes. And the thing about Pinkerton is that that album was very, very different when it came out from their first album.
It's like maligned by critics, right?
Well, yeah. Well, first it was self-recorded. Okay. So the first album was recorded like professionally. I think, Rick Ocasek from the Cars produced that album. Okay. The second album, Pinkerton, was recorded like at home. I don't know where. I mean, I could look this up, but I know that it was self-recorded, so it has such a more like indie feel to it. Like the drum sound is not as good. It's not as tight, and I love that sound. I think the home recording sound is so cool. And then lyrically, he like just dug so deep into himself, and he came out with some lyrics that have drawn some controversy, some lyrics that people say are... so at the time, critics, yes, they hated it. And that caused Rivers himself to hate it. Yeah. And so they played it live for like maybe a year or two, and then they went on a hiatus. And Rivers was just like, I cannot... He's like, fuck Pinkerton. Fuck, I so regret putting all of this out. I'm so mad at myself that I made all of this. And that was the case for years. And so then that subsequently led to the Green album, where it's a completely different sound than Pinkerton. It's super polished. Rick Ocasek is back on the boards. The lyrics are not introspective at all like Pinkerton was. The lyrics are very much like, they're not really talking about anything. They're just kind of like all over the place. They're like, there's nothing you can tie them to. There's nothing controversial in there whatsoever.
And we definitely
very polished power pop.
We definitely are going to talk about some Pinkerton lyrics, but it definitely is like very vulnerable, kind of
super vulnerable,
awkward things that Rivers is talking about that not many people would feel comfortable, I think, putting that out.
Yeah, a lot of people, even today, a lot of people have said like the song Across the Sea, for example, is like not cool. I think that it just speaks to how vulnerable he was feeling at the time. After Weezer just got famous, the Blue album was such a success that it led to he was kind of having, I don't know if he was having a breakdown, but I know that he was not coping well with the fame. And it led to Pinkerton. And I think those lyrics hold up so well today because they're so introspective and goofy and weird. And he's like, this is me. This is who I am. I bleed just like you.
Well, so we'll get into it, but I do want to bring up one Weezer memory that just always sticks in my mind, which is at a piano karaoke bar in New York City called Sid Gold's. Andrew Stieglitz, you went up and performed Say It Ain't So by Weezer, wearing, this is a classy joint, and you were wearing like just a t-shirt, a band t-shirt with like a sweatshirt on, a hoodie, which is fine, but it like didn't match necessarily the attire of most people in this place. And you go up there and absolutely kill Say It Ain't So. You get a rousing applause in this like place where like people are doing like mostly classic rock songs and like, you know, that kind of thing. And then you exit the stage and you are swarmed by multiple women in like dressed to the nines, like full on party dresses, like really put together. And they're just like, Andrew, like, and they're like, how do I pick a song? And they like hand you the sheet that basically just says like, write the song and the artist you want. And it's very obvious and easy how to do it. But your Weezer song, your talent for singing wooed so many people in that audience that they forgot how to simply select a song.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to me that happened. I have since sung that song every single time I've gone to Pickles.
You're just hiding behind it. You're like, clearly this worked and I will do it again.
Imagine if like, that's like how I can flirt. Is like I just go up to a girl in a bar and she's like, ugh, I'm not interested. And then I just belt Say It Ain't So and she's like, oh, starts swooning.
That doesn't happen to me because I try to make up for my lack of voice with my with my presence, with my stage presence. It doesn't quite work out. All right.
I also have since done some really bad, not bad, but like performances at Sid Gold's that were maybe rather not nearly as good.
No.
Very drunk.
Yes. Anyway.
That is a place where we will get absolutely shit-faced and sing the most ridiculous songs.
Post-quarantine, everyone go to Sid Gold's in New York City. It's a great vibe. It's a great time. Support it. So let's get into this. Give me your first Weezer lyric. Number one.
Okay, so I picked a lot because I wanted to have some backups, and also like, how can you choose just one?
Well, just give me one. You got to pick right now. You got to choose which one you want to talk about immediately. I'll give you one.
Here we go. Let's go one of my favorite Weezer songs from Pinkerton.
Okay.
The Good Life.
Okay.
I love this song. I love the chorus. I have a couple of sections from the song.
Okay.
The first section is pre-chorus after the first verse, which goes, broken, beaten down, can't even get around. Without an old man cane, I fall and hit the ground. Shivering in the cold, I'm bitter and alone. And then the chorus, which is, and I don't want to be an old man anymore. It's been a year or two since I was out on the floor, shaking booty, making sweet love all the night. It's time I got back to the good life.
Amazing. I like the quick change of just like this song where it's like, I feel so worn down by life. I feel like an old man. Relatable. And then it's just like, I want to shake my ass on the dance floor. Great.
Yes.
Like, I love that transition.
I love how he says in this like very kind of an indie rock type song that he's just like shaking booty, making sweet love all the night. That's so great.
I also want to let Rivers know that doesn't have to stop when you are an old man.
Yeah.
Hasn't he seen Dirty Grandpa with Robert De Niro and Zac Efron?
He hasn't seen that movie. That's crazy. Rivers, go watch that movie.
I guess this predated that, but I'd like to imagine that now he realizes that old men could shake booty and make love as well.
That movie revolutionizing the dialogue around old men shaking booty.
Yeah. It's
So what I want to ask is, have you ever felt like you used to go out and shake booty and make sweet love all the night, and that now you're an old man? Like, is this relatable to you? Have you ever shaken booty on the dance floor?
I have at some point for sure shaken my booty, but I don't feel that necessarily related to feeling like an old man. There's days I definitely feel like an old man, and I'm like, I am sore, and life has gone on for a long time. But then there's times, right now I don't feel that necessarily. I feel it's more quarantine preventing me from shaking booty on the dance floor.
Yeah.
So
I'm definitely realizing how relevant this is.
Yeah. If this were 2020, it's not me feeling like an old man. It's me feeling like a hermit in in the wilderness, who's simply cannot go to bars anymore.
Yeah. It does sometimes make me feel like an old man. Like, it's a Friday night and I'm just like sitting at home.
Yes.
And I'm like, I should be, like, I did have this thought, like, even just last week, where it's like, I should be going out, shaking booty, making sweet love all the night.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And I'm sad about that.
So my first song is Undone, the sweater song.
Yeah. I was going to pick from this too, but there was just so many good ones that this came later for me.
My lyric is, if you want to destroy my sweater, hold this thread as I walk away. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, that's like the least badass version of walking away from an explosion, like in an action movie.
Yeah.
Because that's cool. This is just like, all right, hold on to this. I'm going to keep walking until my sweater is all undone. It's going to take a good 2 hours. You're going to be like, why am I a part of this? I did not sign up for this. just to humor you, Rivers, as you want to make a cool exit. I'm not falling for it.
Or maybe he's like, hey, lady, in order to undress me,
Jesus,
grab this thread, wait 6.5 hours, and I'm gonna be naked.
It seemed naked only from the top up.
And then grab this thread on my pants and do the same thing for another 6.5 hours.
That seems like something a very ultra orthodox religious sect would do. Where it's like the first time you're allowed to see someone naked, or like you've just been married and now you can procreate and have children, you must pull the sweater thread and simply walk away as time passes, and then you're naked. That's the ritual.
And there are lines in that song where it's like, I don't want to destroy your sweater. So somebody is telling him, please don't make me pull your thread again. How many times do you think he's asked somebody, pull my thread?
I would be annoyed if someone tried this on me. I'd say, listen, I could easily just take the sweater off like a normal person. You don't need me to walk away for 3 miles as the sweater unravels.
Yeah, it's a nice sweater. Why would you destroy that sweater?
Alrighty, Steve, let's look at this. We're moving along. Give us your second lyric.
Okay, another one from Pinkerton. Let me pull up and make sure that it's sometimes Lyrics Genius labels things in a weird way.
You're just obsessed with the pre-chorus, chorus, verse label.
Well, no, because I kind of jump around a little bit, and because there's so many good lyrics in these songs that I can't just pick one. So this is from the song El Scorcho.
Yes.
Great song. And my lyric is verse 2 into the... Oh, it's actually just all verse 2.
Okay.
I asked you to go to the Green Day concert. you said you never heard of them. How cool is that? So I went to your room and read your diary. Watching grunge leg drop New Jack through a press table. And then my heart stopped. Listening to Cho San fall in love all over again. Now, lot to digest there. In reading these lyrics, I always thought, like, what the fuck is he saying? Watching grunge leg drop New Jack through a press table. Reading these lyrics, that's in quotes. So he says before that, he says, read your diary. And this seems like, because it's in quotes, it's a diary entry. Yeah. That's part of the diary entry. So that makes a lot more sense to me reading it on Lyric Genius.
I'm glad you could have this breakthrough live on
well, I had this breakthrough as I was picking the lyrics for the podcast. But that is a breakthrough as long as I've been listening to the song. I'm like, oh, that's what... And then he says... What I really love about this is I asked you to go to the Green Day concert. You said you never heard of them. How cool is that? So I went to your room and read your diary. Yeah,
that's what I want to talk about here. This was one that I picked as well. I think for me, it's so funny because it's just really burying the lead of like the mischievous, bad, wrong deed that he's done. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you didn't know the National. That's cool. I'll get to show you the National. And then I went in your room. I opened your diary. I read it all. I changed all your typos. I added some more details about things that I could fill in. And like, she didn't know the Strokes. And then I took her credit card and bought myself a jet ski.
Yeah. She didn't know Beyonce, so I raided her house and stole all of her belongings and threw them in a dumpster and lit them on fire.
It makes it seem like the way he says it makes it, well, it's obviously not a sweet thing, but just like it's delivered where you would expect a sweet thing in a song to be.
Yes,
you would think it's like, I asked you to the Green Day concert. You said you never heard of them. How cool is that? We went together and we bonded as friends.
Yeah.
Instead of
so I broke into your house.
I invaded your privacy.
And what about that? The way he says it, like, you said you never heard of them. So, like, as in, like, therefore, I felt it was okay to go and read your diary. What about not knowing a band makes that okay?
In his mind, it's the only natural conclusion. I think he's so obsessed with this person and their mind, and he's just, like, wanting to consume more. He's, like, halfway on the way to becoming a zombie. He's obsessed with brains.
Yeah, so maybe this is a problematic lyric that people talk about how Pinkerton has some of that.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a bunch of him just being like, well, my second lyric is from Across the Sea, also in Pinkerton.
Oh, good. Okay. Let's get into that.
Okay, so there's a lot from this one. But basically this song is about him getting like fan mail from where's he from, like a teenage girl?
Yeah, from small city in Japan. From
a Japanese teenage girl is getting fan mail.
Yes.
So Rivers...
He loves... this is a theme, by the way, throughout Pinkerton.
Yes.
Is especially in El Scorcho.
Yes.
He says the first verse is, God damn, you have Japanese girls do it to me every time.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, if I release this album, I would definitely be like, wow, I really admitted all of those things. So in this one, he says, they don't make stationery like this where I'm from. So fragile, so refined. So I sniff and I lick your envelope and follow little pieces every time. I wonder what clothes you wear to school. I wonder how you decorate your room. I wonder how you touch yourself and curse myself for being across the sea. Mm-hmm. So this is another thing that's like starts sweet. It's like, oh, this stationery is so interesting and so different than the stationery I'm used to. It's so sophisticated. So I'm sniffing and licking your envelope and thinking about you touching yourself. Just like naturally, like we're moving on, we're jumping through hoops.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is the line that like still causes controversy today. That I wonder how you touch yourself at night, where it's like he's talking about this 18-year-old girl and he's imagining her. It's just like very like kind of pedophilic in a way.
It's his fan too. It's like fan mail.
Yes.
That he's now obsessed with this person.
However, I would take a lyric like this any day off of some of the stuff that came later that's just like about nothing and it's just fluff and it's just like, oh, it's non-controversial, so I'm just going to sing about it. Like this, like getting into Rivers' brain and like getting into like, oh my God, he really thought that. Like everybody has some occasional thoughts that are like, if you put them on a record, people would be like, oh fuck, like that's weird that you would think that.
Yeah. So it's like you appreciate him being so vulnerable to share these
open.
inner darks. Yeah. Which is, I understand then why also when it was panned and people like made fun of it, how much he would feel just like hurt and awkward and self-conscious.
Yeah.
I pulled some YouTube comments for this lyric. My favorite one is, this song is kind of creepy, LMAO. But I think that's the whole point of the album. It's beautiful. Cry emoji.
Yeah.
Just the whole gambit of emotions there. It's creepy, laughing my ass off, but that's the whole point. Beautiful, I'm crying.
Yeah, Rivers will do that to you.
And then this, yeah.
Oh, keep going.
This is my simp song for wanting to have a Japanese or Korean girlfriend. But don't worry, I'm Filipino, and I'm immune to the yellow fever. Just...
Okay.
Thank you for that comment, mister. Get off the fucking computer.
Oh my God.
I just like the idea that's like, listen, it's okay, I'm Filipino. It's like... I'm immune.
People, I guess another problematic thing is like people say that Rivers like was fetishizing Asian people, which is very obvious. We shouldn't have to mention that, but yeah, that's like...
it definitely is happening here. It's like him and Donald Glover in my mind for musicians who fetishize like Asian people in their songs. Yeah.
But it's a good image of like
of
if
nerdcore.
You're in a foreign country, I'm not talking about like an Asian country, I'm just talking about any foreign country, any place that's foreign to you, even like a different state, and you find something that you're like, oh my God, they don't make this where I come from, and you sniff it and fall to little pieces every time. That's a nice visual.
If a strange person from across the river sent me Marmite, I would open the Marmite up. It's like a disgusting British breakfast treat. Give me your third whole lyric.
My third whole lyric is from okay, here's another one. So many Pinkerton. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I realized that was my last Pinkerton one, so
this is my last Pinkerton one. It is from Tired of Sex.
I almost picked this.
And I want to talk about this because so the lyric is, I'm tired, so tired, I'm tired of having sex. Mm-hmm. Let's dive in here a little bit. And in the grand scheme of Pinkerton, the first track on this album, he's saying that he's tired of having sex, right? He's tired of the fame. He gets these girls every night. He wants true love to happen, right? Okay, you're tired of having sex. But then he's like getting handwritten notes from people across the sea and like falling to pieces and like wondering how they touch themselves. So which is it, Rivers?
I don't want to put my analysis hat on, and I'll do that later. So I'll just get into and just to the literals of this lyric. To me, I listen to it, I'm like, oh wow, look at us. We got a man who likes to fuck a lot. He's just been having like so much sex. It means nothing to him. He's just like, I find myself in these situations and it just happens and I'm so tired of it. I'm just, wow, I'm really weary about it. Just like, I guess like, look at me as Rivers Cuomo. I'm just having too much sex again. It's really got to stop this.
Unbelievable. Shut up, Rivers. Enjoy it.
Well, it's also like you said, it's the whole album is him being like very awkward and uncomfortable, and then in this one he's just like, I'm just having too much sex. But
yeah. What's going on? Which is it?
I think his point is, I mean, to put on the analysis cap for a second and say the obvious, his point is that he's tired of these relationships to him that are kind of just physical and sexual, and he wants love. He wants to find a partner. He wants to
but also stop complaining and fuck.
Andrew Stieglitz's advice to Rivers Cuomo. Rivers, if you're listening.
You know, he did take like a virginity thing for a while. He like stopped. He didn't have
like celibacy
for like a few years. Like I said, yeah.
I read that, but I didn't know when that was. If that was like at this time or later.
No, it was after this. It was like years. It was during like the Beverly Hills era, I think.
Celibacy.
So what were you saying?
Oh, that was it.
Oh,
that was it. This podcast episode is brought to you by Celibacy.
Yes.
Try it out.
Go to celibacy.com to save 5%.
Save 5% on your Celibacy sponsor.
Never fucking. Do you think there were moments where he's literally like having sex in that moment and he's railing, and as he's railing, he's just like, "This sucks. Yep. I'm so tired of this."
Probably. That's yep. I wonder if Rivers ever sits in his car at like a stoplight and he's like, damn, I can't believe I released that. Because I think that too. It's things I say on this podcast or things I've tweeted. I'm like, damn, I can't believe I fucking released that. And this is on a much bigger scale. I can't believe I just said railing. I know. I'm embarrassed for you. I think you should be ashamed.
He has since around like 10 or maybe a little more, 10 years ago, come around, like when everybody started to realize that Pinkerton was good. He was like, oh yeah, it's good, and like would play it every night all the time. That's
nice. This is lyric number 3 for me? 3 or 4?
Yes.
3?
I did 3. So yeah.
My third. So this one is from Cold Dark World. It was on an album in which the cover was red. Do I call that the Red Album, or does it have another name?
That's the Red Album, baby.
So this lyric, Rivers sings, I'm not like the others. I'll be around like a brother. I will protect you, never disrespect you. But if you need love, then I'll be here to sex you. Which completely destroys like the myth of the modern man as like anything other than just a Neanderthal animal who wants to get it on, who wants to get booty on the dance floor. Because what a creepy lyric. Also, just like any lyric that is like, I'll be here to sex you, just using it as a verb always makes me so uncomfortable.
It's so creepy. Yeah. I'd rather hear you say like railing or something like that.
We know. We know that is your preferred nomenclature for...
To rail somebody is a beautiful visual. It sticks
makes me
in the
openly
mind.
Weep.
Yeah, to sex you. That's like I just, it sounds like, and it is in this case, like an old man being like super creepy. Like those creepy old men who are just like, I need sex right now.
To me, this is like the stereotypical nice guy thing. It's like, I'll be a brother, I'll protect you. But if you like also need sex, I'm here too. Like, guess what? I could do all of that. It's like, you know, it's that. This is about the Joker.
I mean, I don't think that that's a bad thing to think.
Yeah, I think the point of this lyric, though, is that it seems disingenuous that he actually wants to be a friend. It seems like he's unwilling to be that person who's confident and just make his intentions known. Instead, he's hiding behind this false pretense of friendship. And that is not good.
Sure, false pretense is not good. But maybe he's okay with both. Maybe he likes the friendship and also wants to rail.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe that is true. I just don't think that's what is presented here in Cold Dark World.
Yeah, well,
if that were the truth, this would be a sunny, bright world where everyone is willing to speak their truth.
Why some of the newer stuff is so bad too is that he does continue to talk like this, and now he's like, what is he, like 50? And it's like, all right, enough. You were young, you did it, you talked about it, you need to move on. You can't talk about it like you're a 25-year-old guy anymore. It's getting weird. Which
I guess we'll, as 28-year-olds, we know all too well. And just sounding
getting weird.
We just sound old.
Put it back in your pants.
All right, give me your fourth Weezer lyric.
Fourth Weezer lyric. Oh, what do I choose? Okay. Let's go for a Weezer classic, an absolute classic from the song Hash Pipe.
Okay.
The knee stocking flavor is a favorite treat of men that don't bother with the taste of the teat.
Okay. You gotta, I'm shook and I'm confused and the world is spinning and I don't know what that means.
I am too. I also don't know what it means and I was trying to figure this out and I think it means this.
Just give me the lyric again.
The knee stocking flavor is a favorite treat of men that don't bother with the taste of a teat.
Okay, I think that's clear now to me, even though how much I don't want to say it out loud.
Yes. Okay, good. So I'm on the right track in mind. Let's just say
Rivers.
Yeah, it's kind of pervy, but what I think it is that like it's the difference between like some people would say like what kind of parts on a woman you might find attractive, right?
Some people might say that. I think to the River, this is a song where Rivers is basically saying some people like to go down versus consuming the breast. I
love that. Was amazing, that phrasing.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening here. And it was just like, do we need that etched into song history? Do our ears need to... I sound like a boomer right now. I sound like Keith Hernandez
like
during a
WAP.
Mets game being like, these modern day players.
Yeah.
In my day, you'd get hit for that.
That Meatloaf post where Meatloaf is just like, can you believe this song WAP by Cardi B?
Meat's getting old.
Meat's getting old. Yeah, so I think that this is... It's funny because this song is such a hit. And it was played
on pipe,
like...
You said?
Hash pipe. It's played still on like modern mainstream rock radio.
Okay.
It is everywhere. It's one of their biggest songs of all time. And then there are lyrics like this in it where it's just like pretty on the nose.
Do you agree with me that that's the lyric?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, I like women's legs. I don't need like boobs.
Yeah. Just what a specific a hot take to just like cement in your legacy is just to be like, these parts are all right, these parts not so great. Print it, send it.
Yeah.
Put that in the jacket of my album and let everyone read it.
Here's the thing. I'm realizing all of the songs that we listen to are way more sexual than I initially thought.
Yeah. I didn't. Well, except for like the Idols episode. It was like very much like we were like,
you know what's interesting?
I really hate Tories and I hate homophobes and I hate racists. And then in this episode, we're just like, Rivers clearly likes sex.
What's interesting about this is I keep talking about how the Green Album came after Pinkerton and was full of lyrics that were just kind of like fluff and didn't really. But this is from the Green Album. This is on that, so maybe it's not as fluffy as I thought. I love the Green Album, by the way. So catchy, so like pop hook laden, fun songs, but different than Pinkerton. All right, let's hear your fourth.
My fourth lyric is from "Everybody Get Dangerous," also from this Red album.
Yeah.
And the first lyric to start the song, I believe, is, "When I was younger, I used to go and tip cows for fun. Yeah. Actually, I didn't do that because I didn't want the cow to be sad." And
is that what he really says?
To me, this is a very relatable lyric of like, I didn't get up to bad stuff when I was a kid, but like I like the brag, like it's a little like braggadocious in the beginning, right? He's like, yeah, that's right, I used to tip cows. In fact, actually I didn't, because I was really worried that they'd be sad and I would never disrespect a cow like that. It makes me think of like all these times when I was a kid and like there was this random period of like middle school where like kids loved lighters and being little pyros, and I was just not about that at all. Yeah. And like I remember going to a bar mitzvah for some kid, and like half the row in front of me were just like flipping with lighters and like playing the whole time, and I was always like, that's not me. I'm a good kid who doesn't.
I had friends like that too.
I'm not even Jewish, and I am respecting the synagogue more than you.
But like there's definitely been times in my life where I mean you too, where we've exaggerated stories.
Well, it's also that like he immediately takes it back, which is very funny to me.
Yeah.
Because like I also think about the things in my mind as like a kindergartner, first grader, and I got in trouble, and in my mind I was like, oh my God, I'm now a bad kid. Yeah. And I look back at it and it was like I wrote the word fatso next to an illustration of like a big cartoon alien. I wrote fatso man, and I got brought to the principal in kindergarten or in first grade or third grade or whatever grade. And I remember being in the hallway being like, oh my God, I've misbehaved. This is going to change my life. I am going to have to write a letter home. And then we passed my kindergarten teacher. My kindergarten teacher was like, oh, Lucian, how are you? And my first grade teacher was like, Lucian's been bad. And I was like, wow, oh my God, I'm really, and it affected
you dramatically to this day. No, I have had the same thing. I was such a little fucking baby back in elementary and middle school. Like I wish that I could go back and realize that none of that shit mattered, just so that I could be more of a troublemaker, just so that it would, like, I could have better stories to tell.
Yeah.
But like, because like in the moment, it's just like, oh, I can't do anything bad. I was such a fucking rule follower that like, if I do something bad, like the whole world is going to crash down on me. And I remember one time in 5th grade, I legitimately forgot. So in 5th grade, we had
we got a repressed memory coming straight.
No, it's not repressed. It's definitely it's out in the open. I remember it. We had a like a reward system where you would get $1 for doing something good, and you would lose $1 for doing something bad. And at the end of the week, you got to like buy something with your dollars. Like she brought in like prizes and shit, or maybe it was the end of the month or something. And I legitimately one day forgot my homework. Like not that I didn't do it. I legitimately forgot it. And she was like, I remember the teacher being like, I have to give you a -1. Like that's the rule. And I literally cried. I cried. I was like, I can't, because like in my mind, all of the bad kids in the class had -1s, like so many -1s. And then me, a good kid, had a -1 next to his name. Wow. And I was so upset. I was like, I can't believe I let down everybody. I let down myself. I let down my family. I let down my country. I let down God.
Yeah, God fucking smite, smooth.
Yes.
He hurt you. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like in those moments, you're very much like, this is good. This is changing my life. I'm on a new course. Instead of being like a college student who's going to be president one day, I'm now being sent to the place where they make bad boys who ride motorcycles, and that's my destiny now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to end up on the other side of a Lana Del Rey song as a love interest because I've started misbehaving now.
See, now I wish that I could go back and redo my childhood so that I do turn out like that, because I think
like a motorcycle bad boy?
Yeah, I want to be a motorcycle bad boy.
You still can. Today could be the start of a new thing for you.
Shit, you're right.
There's nothing stopping you from getting the cheapest motorcycle on Craigslist and self-identifying as a bad boy.
I'll be right back.
This is where we note that Andrew Stieglitz has left the podcast because he died in a motorcycle accident, everyone. All right. What is your 5th and final lyric? Oh my God. We're just going through them.
Okay. Well, I wanted to pull a lyric from Buddy Holly because it's my favorite Weezer song, but I think the lyric from the song Dope Nose on the album Maladroit is better.
Wow, so you just tease us with the Buddy Holly.
I tease you with Buddy Holly, but Maladroit is so underrated. Dope Nose is a good song, and the lyric is better. So it is, cheese smells so good on a burnt piece of lamb. Piece of what? And then he says a bad word of the year who could beat up your man. He says a bad word there. And I was surprised to see that bad word was.
I'm Googling this because I don't know what that.
Do you know how to know what the bad? It starts with an F.
Oh, wow. Like
F word of the year.
Homophobic word.
Who could beat up? Who could beat up your man? Now he's talking about it. This is 2002. Keep in mind.
Can you do the whole thing again? Sorry. What's the song again?
Cheese smells so good on a burnt piece of lamb. Piece of what? F word of the year. Who could beat up your man?
Weird.
So that in that context, I know that he's talking about, not to put on the analysis hat, but he's not talking. He's not like calling somebody the F word. He's calling himself that, and he's like, I may be this. You may call me this, but I could still beat up your man. You know. I love that cheese. He says cheese smells so good on a burnt piece of lamb. That's disgusting to me.
Burnt anything is not good to me. Some people like.
But why would you put cheese on lamb?
You're making a lamb burger.
Maybe.
Obviously. This is surprising. Yeah. I mean, you don't expect that from Rivers. You expect him to be a little more restrained with his curse choices.
Yeah, well, I think that he probably put this in a song because he has been called that in his life. So I think that he's like, if you're going to call me this, just know, okay, I may be that, but I can beat up your man.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
That makes sense. I see where he's coming from. It's, yeah.
He wouldn't put it in a song.
No, absolutely not.
This is 2002, and he was doing it in an ironic, cheeky way.
Yeah, he wouldn't do it today, but I understand what he was going for.
Yes. Would you put cheese on lamb? Would you do that?
Yeah, I'd put some feta cheese on lamb. That sounds good. Put it in a burger, put that in my mouth.
Feta cheese. Interesting. I was picturing like American cheese.
Just because you think of America first.
Of course. I always think of America first. Do you not? Whenever somebody says anything to me, I think, in what context can I think about America? And then I think of what they say to me.
Yes. It's like when you're in a conversation and you don't actually listen to what the person's saying, but you just think of how you can tell a story about yourself.
Was that a slight to me?
It's a slight towards all of us. So my fifth lyric, my final lyric of this pod is from Pork and Beans, which, is that also from this Red album?
Red album.
Wow, I picked like 3 albums. Okay. I'ma do the things that I want to do. I ain't got a thing to prove to you. I'll eat my candy with the pork and beans. Excuse my manners if I make a scene.
Another gross food reference.
Gross food reference, but I appreciate it because he's basically like, who cares? I'm going to eat whatever food I want in whatever combination I want. And this makes me think of like my dad who does that. That my dad, looking at these lyrics, I'm like, my dad is so self-assured that he makes disgusting food combinations and he's okay with it. Like I've seen him eat
what
like
combinations?
So I've seen him put like string cheese with like a chocolate like ice pop before and just like randomly eat those together. Or I'll see him just put like cheese and yogurt, like a fruity yogurt for no reason. Or he just loves like combining things. He'll put like jelly with the strangest things. His biggest breakfast, his go-to breakfast every single day, which I get behind. It's so good. But I realize is not a common thing, is he puts cream cheese on waffles and then puts syrup on that, which is less common, but it's delicious. It's great.
That doesn't surprise me as much as string cheese with chocolate.
No.
What is it? What was it?
He takes like a chocolate, like a Dove bar, and he puts like a piece of string cheese, and he's like, "Look at me." And he often does this like with me watching as like getting a reaction, but he genuinely could combine. In his mind, I think it's all going to the same place. So if you like it, you like it. You put it together. So, hey, I'm just saying that's self-actualization, baby. You don't got to care about what people think. You're eating the candy with the pork and beans. And that proves you can do it. I've often wondered this too. Like, I love hamburgers. Cheeseburgers, great. Would I blend it together and eat it as like a smoothie? Probably not. But that'd be doing you.
I'm not okay right now.
You gotta take a break.
That's pretty gross. Gross.
Pretty gross. So there you go. 5 Weezer lyrics. I guess we gotta write our own on this. I did not do this before, so I gotta improvise one. And this is the hardest one for me, I think, so far.
This is hard because, like I say every time I try and get their cadence down, I don't know what his cadence would be. It's like slow, like. You know what I mean?
All right, I just wrote one.
I got some bad ones, but let's hear. Let's hear yours.
So I wrote. Give me a cadence. I can't do cadences. I'm just gonna say it.
Dude, say it.
Me and my pops got a clown mask. Gonna scare the jock kids on their ass. Ooh. Got a friend named Sarah Jean. Wanna kill her boyfriend, but that is mean. So I went home and ate a big mango. Guess I'm all alone. Solo tango.
Dude, that's good. I genuinely see that under like a very power pop guitar, like da na 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 na. You know what I mean?
Well, it's okay. Not to toot my
I
own
see
horn
that as
here,
a
but
as a Weezer.
I was like, what? So the first verse is like him hating on jock kids, right?
Yes.
And just like thinking about how he wants to take revenge on them. Second verse is how he hates he's obsessed with someone and just wants to kill their boyfriend, which is something that I could easily see him say. But then being like, I couldn't do that. Then he goes home and just doesn't do any of this stuff. And he just like is by himself all alone, dancing on his own. It's just like he didn't do any of it. He didn't, all that stuff he was scared, he like really wanted to get at was just nothing. They were just words and feelings that he's not ever going to act on.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a Rivers Cuomo lyric for sure.
Thank you, Rivers.
Here's mine.
Hit me up. We could be friends. We both wear glasses.
I took a look in your book and I wrote this little hook. Yes, I plead for your love that I mistook. And I want to tell you that I need you so, but all I should do is just go, go, go.
So once again, he's reading someone else's book. Rivers.
Yes, reading book, pleading for love, realizing that he did something wrong. Your love that I mistook.
Go, go, go out the door or go, go, go?
Like I shouldn't talk to you anymore because all I want is your love that you're not reciprocating. That's I don't think that we should analyze our own lyrics here.
No, it is funny that we are analyzing our own lyrics, but hey. That's it for our lyrical deep dive of Weezer. If you content hounds want more Lyric Boys content, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Lyric Boys. We'll post Spotify and Apple Music playlists of all the Weezer songs we mentioned. If you want to send us hate mail, fan mail, recipes, stock tips, insider trades, email us at lyricboyspod@gmail.com. Most importantly, please like, please subscribe, please leave a review. Tell a friend about this podcast. We want you to do that. We want listeners. We want validation. Stieglitz, any last words?
Nope.
No last words. All right, goodbye.